I hope you're all well. This is our last virtual lesson and then we'll be back in the classroom. I can't wait to see you. All right, this week we need to do the present perfect tense. And I've given you a picture of Marge Simpson in the corner there, as I'm sure you've all been watching a bit of television as well as doing your work. I hope that you're keeping well and safe. So let's have a look. What is the present perfect tense? Present perfect can have the following functions, and there are 4 of them. A, it describes a state, event, or habit that started in the past and continues to the present and may continue into the future. There I've given you an example. I have lived in this house for 6 years. Right? It started 6 years ago and I'm still living in it, so I have lived here for 6 years. Number B. It describes an event which was completed some time in the past and has significance to the present. There's your example. I'm not hungry just now. I've just eaten. Please take note of the contraction. Instead of saying I have, we say I've just eaten. Then it describes an experience you had in the past, which you remember clearly. Example, I have done a bungee jump. I have done my schoolwork. I have done a lot of sleeping. And D, we use the present perfect form to check that something has been done or completed. For example, your mum might say to you, have. And it's very important that you pay attention that it starts with your question word. Have you finished the washing up yet? Present perfect forms. Here you have your corresponding forms for the present perfect tense. Positive. Positive means it's correct. Positive. Remember, when you do technology, you've got your positive and a negative, and with the present perfect, it's much the same. So the positive, you've got your subject. Remember, we've done the subject already. The person or the thing performing the action is your subject. So you've got your subject plus has or have. Very important that you remember that. Has or have. Has would be when it's a singular subject and have when it is a plural subject. Plus your past participle and a complement to finish the sentence. There I gave you an example and I see now that I did not type it completely correctly. Please forgive me. The example is he, and there I've got my pronoun going again. Remember, you can at any time use a pronoun to replace a noun. It makes life so much easier. He hasn't contracted again. I don't say he has not. When I can use hasn't, I say hasn't read all of the book. Sorry, grade 6s, of should have been there. Negative. Subject again, remember the person or the thing performing the action, plus has or have not. Again, has would be for a singular subject and have for a plural, plus your past participle and the complement. And there I've given you a lovely picture of the carnival in Rio de Janeiro. Here comes your example. Have a look. We, there your pronoun is again. We have not been in carnival at Rio de Janeiro yet. Interrogative. Remember, interrogative means you are asking a question. Asking the question words. Those good old ones that you've forgotten all about. But in this case, it's have or has, and look to where the subject moves. It is no longer at the beginning of your sentence. It comes after your have or your has. So you've got have or has, plus your subject, plus your past participle, and the complement. Look at the picture I've given you at the bottom. I hope none of you are getting up to mischief, as that little picture demonstrates. Here comes your example. Have you ever had an accident? Have. You're asking question, interrogative. You, pronoun, and there comes your verb. Ever had an accident? You can use short answers with present perfect. I know that you all like short answers, and in this case you can. You can use short answers with their corresponding contractions. Remember, contractions when you've got one word plus another word and you remove certain letters of the word, replacing it with your apostrophe, making a contraction. There's your first one. Have you heard about Spielberg's new film? Yes, I have, or no, I haven't. Have plus not. You see, grade sixes, instead of two words, you use your contraction, haven't. Then look at the second arrow. Yes, he has. No, he hasn't. Again, you've got your contraction going there. And before I pull it up on the screen, think to yourself quickly, which two words make the contraction, hasn't. And it would be has plus not. Gives you your contraction. And there is little E.T., one of my favorite films of all time. Do you see him? Look at the big eyes. All right. Remember that there are two forms of verbs, regulars and irregulars. Two forms. Regulars are the ones that we know and use all the time. And when it's irregular, remember that the entire word changes in spelling, many of them. All right, so if you've got your consonant after a short stressed vowel at the end of the word, that consonant gets doubled, as in stop and stopped, and shop and shopped. Do you see the P gets doubled and you add your ED? When you've got the E at the end of the verb, remember you don't add another E, you add just the D. So love already has its E in place, you just add the D, making it loved. I loved marking all your books during the lockdown. Save, you just add the D. He has saved the day by coming to school on time. Then the verbs that end in a Y, grade sixes, it's important that you remember this. If it ends in a Y and has a vowel in front of that Y, remember your vowels are the five that we know and love. A, E, I, O, and U. So if the Y has a vowel in front of it, no worries. You just add your ED, as in played. However, should the Y have a consonant in front of it, and remember the consonants are everything in the alphabet which is not a vowel. So the entire alphabet, other than your vowel sounds, then that Y needs to change. It needs to fall away. You change it to an I, and then you add your ED, as in studied. Here I've given you a list, and you would be wise, grade sixes, to, if possible, print out the lists that I'm giving you today and to keep them in your flip file or in your book for when you need to study regular verbs. They are straightforward. Fix, want, talk, open, close, pull, push, share, study. Study is the one where the trick comes in, because remember, we said if there's a Y, you look what is in front of the Y, which is a D. A D is a consonant, so the Y by study becomes an I. So you would have present, study, past, studied, and past participle, also studied. This is learning work, guys. You really need to learn and remember these verbs so that you can use them with ease. Here are your irregular verbs, right? And look at them. Some of them are not that difficult. Really, they are not. These are very easy. You've done them since grade 4. And I've given you run at the top in the present tense, run. In the past, it becomes ran. And then look at the past participle. It changes back to run. It's a tricky one. So remember it. Then also have a look at swim. Swim in the present has your I, your short vowel. In the past, it becomes swam. And no grade 6s, it's not wrong in the third column. Your past participle of swim becomes swum. You need to look at it, remember it, and be able to use it. And that's me. Let me give myself a nice big screen. I hope you are all well. I hope you're looking after your parents. I hope you're doing your chores. I hope you've done all the work, or as much of it as you can. And I look forward to seeing you when you come on the 6th. Remember your mask. Remember your hand sanitizer. Remember your basic rules. I miss you very much, as do all the other grade 6 teachers. Please, when you do the work from the Platinum textbook, you need to copy the definition on page 101 before you do the work. And that's me. Bye, guys.